we're still waiting for more updates as to what exactly has happened. This is a live development which took a short while time back. That means it's just happened, so we're still waiting for more updates to come in. And the aircraft has just crashed into a pond. It's a pond. From what we understand, this is a pond near KP College. We're coming on, this is near KP College. This is the information coming in from Prayagraj. This is a trainer aircraft which has crashed in Prayagraj. More details are awaited as to what really happened. First, on Republic TV, where we are getting the fastest updates coming right here, coming live right here, Republic TV first on Republic TV. Now, of course, the focus would be turning soon to what really happened, what caused that trainer aircraft to crash, who was inside that trainer aircraft, how many people were inside, and if there were more people, have they been rescued? I really want to go across to Shravan. There's so many questions, Shravan, that we are raising about this trainer aircraft which has crashed in the middle of the city in Prayagraj. What are we learning of, Shravan?
Well, in fact, we've just received the information that this was a trainee aircraft which had taken off from the Prayagraj airport. In fact, as far as crew members are concerned, 2 is what we are being told as of now. But it seems there is still no clarity because the administration has just reached the spot to carry out the rescue operation. Not very sure whether at all there have been any casualties as far as this case is concerned. It turns out that there was a technical glitch that has been reported soon after the takeoff that took place. It, in fact, did not really take the kind of altitude that was basically required to carry forward the entire flight operation. That's all that we have in terms of what perhaps led to this particular crash. Right now, this has happened just a few kilometers away from the Prayagraj airport. In fact, it crash landed next to a pond in that area. In terms of whether at all there have been any injuries, the administration hasn't made it very clear at this stage, but what we can confirm is that the takeoff took place just a little after noon, and immediately after which the ATC essentially was basically informed, and thereafter the landing has actually taken place. It seems from the wreckage that you see right now just next to the pond where this crash landing has essentially taken place, it seems that following the altitude gain that they could not have had, this crash landing has actually taken place. It does appear right now this is a Cessna aircraft which is basically crashed. It's a trainee aircraft. We're trying to ascertain more details in terms of who exactly was present, and more importantly, whether at all there have been any casualties so far.
Okay, Shravan, so you're saying that there were 2 people. From what we understand, there's some fresh information coming in. The member strength was 2. 2 crew members were inside that aircraft, the trainer aircraft. And like you said, that we're still waiting for more information to come in on what caused that crash. Okay, taking a short break. Much more coming up, viewers. We are live and breaking on India's #1 news channel, Republic TV. 2 injured in a crash in Prayagraj. More details awaited on this developing story. Stay tuned.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
At Amity University's 2-week summer school, students of classes 9 to 12 get to explore future undergraduate programs as per their interest from over 30 disciplines. Students attend lectures by Amity University faculty, gain experience at over 400 labs and learning studios, and attend personality enhancement workshops. Register now at amity.edu/summerschool.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime.
injured in a crash in Prayagraj. We're getting these details coming in. Stay tuned. Much more on the other side.
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रूंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रूंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रूंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, ये तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है?
अरे मेरे राजा,
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets they wouldn't believe. If they do that.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Shankaracharya Avimukteshwar Anand sends a legal notice to UP government. Says he will remain outside the ashram until administration gives him due respect. Big boost to NDA fold ahead of Tamil Nadu elections. TTV Dinakaran makes a comeback to NDA alliance. Rupees 30,000 crore Sanjay Kapoor inheritance battle in court. Mother Rani Kapoor moves Delhi High Court to scrape family trust. Alleges forgery by Priya Sachdev. Another provocation as China and Bangladesh envoy visits Teesta for technical assessment. Close to chicken's neck. Donald Trump's big statement amid tensions with Macron, says won't be attending G7 meet in Paris. All right, welcome viewers. Beginning this bulletin with a big breaking news coming in. An aircraft, we are given to understand, has just crashed into a pond right in the middle of Prayagraj. Now, the administration is in fact reached the spot, and 2 pilots reportedly have been injured. More details, viewers, are awaited at this point, but this is the latest we are getting in about this accident, aviation accident that has taken place in Prayagraj, an aircraft crashing right in the middle of a pond in the city. Now, we are given to understand that 2 pilots have also been injured in this accident at this point, and the administration has already reached the spot, which means rescue ops are underway. But on your screen, you can see the debris, in fact, of that aircraft, a portion of it lying right in the middle of the city. The accident has taken place in Prayagraj, where an aircraft, in fact, has crashed. Rescue ops are underway. We're getting you visuals of the aftermath of the crash and also the rescue ops which are underway. We're given to understand that the administration is right on the spot to help with the rescue ops. As of now, viewers, 2 pilots have been injured is what we're given to understand. And we're getting you live visuals, in fact, of the crash, the aftermath of it, and as the rescue ops are underway right now in Prayagraj, as this crash took place in the middle of a pond in the city, in fact. Viewers, it's a breaking news. More details are awaited, but the latest that we know that an aircraft has crashed in Prayagraj. At this point, rescue ops are underway and 2 pilots have been unfortunately injured. They, of course, are being given a treatment at this point, but rescue teams are working on the spot. We're getting you visuals of that as well on your screen. This comes as a crash has now been reported from Prayagraj, in fact. Now, viewers, this aircraft crashed into a pond. We are given to understand this happened right in the middle of Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh, leading to 2 pilots getting injured in this crash. We're getting you visuals right from the spot where the aircraft crashed. In fact, we also have visuals of the rescue ops which are underway. We are given to understand that 2 pilots have been injured. Now, of course, more details are awaited. We are still trying to confirm what exactly caused this crash. Was it some technical issue in the aircraft or negligence in terms of human resource? But those are the latest visuals viewers are getting from Prayagraj. And now we are shifting focus. Breaking news coming in on the Shankaracharya controversy. Shankaracharya Avi Mukteshwara Nand has said he will not perform worship at the ashram. In fact, the worship of 125,000 shivlings remain incomplete. Now the Shankaracharya says he will remain outside the ashram until the administration, he's talking about the UP administration, in fact, grants him due respect. Viewers, we're getting you visuals, in fact, as well of this controversy now escalating with Shankaracharya saying that he will continue to remain outside the ashram until the administration grants him due respect. We also, in fact, have an exclusive conversation with him. Let's take a listen.
स्वामी जी, जो जवाब दिया गया, जो आरोप लगाए गए थे प्रशासन की तरफ से, अधिवक्ता ने ईमेल के जरिए जिक्र किया कि ये सब पूरी तरह से गैर कानूनी है और इसके खिलाफ आगे याचिका भी दायर करेंगे सुप्रीम कोर्ट में। क्या कुछ कहा गया उसमें?
ऐसा है कि ये बियॉन्ड जुरिस्डिक्शन, अपने क्षेत्राधिकार का अतिक्रमण करके ये नोटिस हमको उनके द्वारा भेजी गई थी। जो माघ मेला प्राधिकरण है उसका गठन जिस एक्ट से किया गया है उसमें कहीं नहीं लिखा है कि माघ मेला का प्राधिकरण यहाँ पर आने वाले साधु संतों की डिग्निटी के परीक्षा करेगा। ये मर्यादा के अतिक्रमण का मामला है, शिष्टाचार की तिलांजलि देने का मामला है। लेकिन यहाँ के प्राधिकरण ने ये सब परवाह छोड़ दी और छोड़ करके हमसे पूछा कि अपने नाम के आगे जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य क्यों लिखे हो। तो जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य हमने अपने नाम के आगे नहीं लिखा है, हमारा नाम ही अब जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य है। वो उनको अभी ये बात नहीं समझ में आई है, पता नहीं है। ये जो जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य है ये ऐसा पद नहीं है कि यहाँ पर कोई बैठे तो जब तक बैठा है तब तक वो अमुक कहा जाए। ये जीवन पर्यंत के लिए अभिषिक्त आचार्य होता है और जैसे ही इस पद पर विराजमान होता है वो आदि शंकराचार्य का स्वरूप हो जाता है। भगवान शंकराचार्य जी ने मठामनाय महानुशासन में कहा है कि उक्त लक्षण संपन्न परिभ्राडुक्त लक्षण अहमेवेति विज्ञेयः यस्य देव इति श्रुते है। इसका मतलब कि मेरे पीठ पर मेरे द्वारा बताए गए लक्षणों से संपन्न जो आचार्य अभिषिक्त हो जाएगा वो मेरा ही स्वरूप है, मैं ही हूँ। अहम एव इति विज्ञेयः, मैं ही हूँ, ऐसा मेरे मानने वाले माने। तो वो ही हैं, आदि शंकराचार्य ही हैं। तो हमारे नाम के आगे हमने नहीं जोड़ा है। हमारा नाम अभी मुक्तेश्वर अभी नंद नहीं है, हमारा नाम इस समय जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य है। अभी मुक्तेश्वरानंद इसलिए लगाया गया है, उसको हटाया इसलिए नहीं गया कि व्यवहारिक बोध भी लोगों को होता रहे, क्योंकि जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य मात्र कहेंगे तो आदि शंकराचार्य का बोध होने लगेगा, इसलिए ये नाम भी उसमें संयुक्त किया गया है। लेकिन हमारा ये असल में नाम है। ये जो धार्मिक हमारी बारीकी है, इसको क्या अधिकारी समझेंगे और क्या नेता समझेंगे, वो ऐसा प्रश्न हमसे पूछते हैं। और चूंकि उन्होंने पूछ ही लिया, लाज शर्म छोड़ के, लिहाज छोड़ के, तो फिर स्वाभाविक है। हमारे कार्यालय ने हमसे कहा था कि उन्होंने 24 घंटे में जवाब चाहा है हम दे देंगे, और हमको आज सवेरे जब हम आए हैं हमको बता दिया गया कि रात को 24 घंटा पूरा हो उसके पहले ही उनको ईमेल से भी जवाब भेज दिया गया है। और हमारे लोगों ने प्रिंट आउट निकाल करके जा करके वहाँ रिसीव भी कराना चाहा, लेकिन वहाँ उनके कार्यालय में भी वीडियो भी बनाया है, पूरे कार्यालय में कोई नहीं था उनके। वो रात को 12 बजे के बाद कानून गो भेजते हैं शंकराचार्य जी के यहाँ कि अभी रिसीव करिए। हमारे आदमी जब जाते हैं हम, तो वहाँ पर भी तो कोई नहीं था। एक व्यक्ति खड़ा था, वो कहता था मैं तो चौकीदार हूँ, सवेरे आइए। तो फिर हमारे लोगों ने भी उनकी दीवार पे चस्पा कर दिया जवाब और आ गए।
तो आप लोगों ने भी 24 घंटे का वक्त दिया है।
अब 24 घंटे का वक्त, बात तो थी मन में कि हम भी कहें, लेकिन उनके स्तर पर उतरना ठीक नहीं है। हमने ये मान लिया कि इनका जवाब मांगा था इन्होंने, हमारे कार्यालय ने उसको दे दिया। हम चाहते हैं कि ये जो चाहते हैं वो हम न करें। ये क्या चाहते हैं कि हमने गौ माता की रक्षा का जो मुद्दा उठाया है उसको ये डिरेल करना चाहते हैं, उसको पटरी से हटाना चाहते हैं, उसको पीछे करना चाहते हैं, छुपाना चाहते हैं, इसलिए ये सब कर रहे हैं। तो हम इनके आशय को समझ करके अपना मुख्य जो हमारा उद्देश्य है उस पर केंद्रित अब होना चाहते हैं।
शंकराचार्य जी, इस कड़कड़ाती ठंड में 3 दिन बीत चुके हैं उस पूरे घटनाक्रम को, आज चौथे दिन भी आप बाहर बैठे हैं। अब ये सिलसिला कब तक चलता रहेगा?
देखिए, ये शंकराचार्य हमारे यहाँ 4 हैं, एक पूर्व, एक पश्चिम, एक उत्तर, एक दक्षिण। और आपको पता है हम उत्तर के शंकराचार्य हैं। उत्तर तो हिमालय में है, हमारा पीठ बद्रीनाथ में है, तो हम तो हिमालय के शंकराचार्य हैं। हमें ठंडी से क्या, हमें तो ठंड अच्छी लगती है, हमें ठंडी से कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। माइनस डिग्री में हमारे पूर्वज रहते आए हैं, हमें क्या दिक्कत है। हमारी कोई मांग नहीं है। मांगा किससे जाता है? जो हमसे ज़्यादा वैशिष्ट रखता हो, हम इनसे मांगेंगे। हमें क्या मांगना है? हम कुछ भी नहीं मांगते हैं इनसे, इनसे क्यों मांगेंगे? इसलिए हमारी कोई मांग नहीं थी। हाँ, हमारी टेक जरूर है, और वो इनसे नहीं है। हमारी टेक गंगा और यमुना की धारा से है कि आपके स्नान के लिए हम निकले थे, हमें क्यों वो नहीं मिला है। जब तक ससम्मान हमारा स्नान नहीं होगा हम शिविर में प्रवेश नहीं करेंगे। अभी यात्रा में ही हैं, समझ लो कि अभी स्नान ही के लिए निकले हैं, अभी स्नान के लिए रास्ता ही में हैं, ऐसा मान करके रास्ते में बैठे हैं।
मतलब कि अगर विधि विधान से आपका स्नान संपन्न हो जाएगा तो आश्रम में आप बैठने लगेंगे?
हाँ, स्वाभाविक है, फिर और कार्य करेंगे, और नहीं तो यहाँ से भी हमारा धर्म कार्य तो चल ही रहा है। इस समय हम यहाँ आए थे तो पूजा पाठ, देखिए हम कितना मन में दुख होता है। भगवान की पूजा हम प्रतिदिन 5 बार करते हैं, अब यहीं से दर्शन कर रहे हैं, है ना, केवल तर्पण दंड का कर पा रहे हैं। तो ये सब है। अभी गुप्त नवरात्रि चल रही है, इसमें हम लोग महापूजा करते हैं। वो हमारी महापूजा हमको अपने शिष्यों के माध्यम से करनी पड़ रही है। और जब हम यहाँ आए थे तो हमने सोचा था कि गौ माता की रक्षा के लिए।
All right, viewers are moving into breaking news coming in from Prayagraj, where an aircraft has just crashed into a pond right, in fact, in the middle of the city. At this point, rescue ops are underway. The administration has reached the spot where the crash took place, and we are given to understand that 2 pilots have reportedly been injured in this crash. Viewers, we're getting you visuals exactly of the spot where the crash took place. At this point, you can see, in fact, several people from around the city have also gathered around the spot where the crash took place. And at this point, rescue ops are underway. 2 pilots have been injured. And this is exactly where the crash took place. Now, viewers, it is breaking news we're getting at this point, so more details are awaited. At this point, we do not know what exactly caused this crash. Was it a technical issue? Was it some fault on the part of the pilots? At this point, we do not know. But this is exactly the spot on your screen where the crash took place, and 2 pilots have been reportedly injured in this crash which took place in Prayagraj. You can see how several people have also gathered around the spot where the crash took place. Of course, last year has not been very well for the aviation industry, and now another crash being reported from Prayagraj. 2 pilots injured in this crash, and at this point more details are awaited. Rescue ops are underway. My colleague Ishan is now joining me with more details on this. Ishan, what do we know about this crash so far? We understand 2 pilots have been injured and this crash took place in Prayagraj.
Yeah, absolutely. A military trainee aircraft crashed into a point behind KP College in Prayagraj. The incident occurred around between 12:30 and 1 p.m. The aircraft plunged into a water body during a routine flight. As of now, reports are indicating that all occupants are safe and the aircraft is currently submerged in the pond, and the fire brigade and rescue teams have arrived at the state, and the district administration officials have also rushed to the crash site. Right now, not a lot of information is available on how the crash happened, what happened in the crash. Any such details are not yet available, and we are looking into the same. Right now, the information is that all the occupants of the aircraft are safe, and there are no casualties reported as such. Back to you.
All right, Ishan. So what we know so far is that both the pilots have been recovered safely. And in fact, this aircraft was undertaking a scheduled training mission, we are given to understand, when this crash took place, right?
Absolutely. This was on a scheduled training mission, and during that mission, the aircraft plunged into a pond behind the KP College in Prayagraj. Now, the aircraft that plunged into the pond, we are not sure exactly what happened and what are the reasons behind it. But what we know right now is that all the occupants of the aircraft are safe, and it was during a routine training flight that this incident had occurred.
Right, Ishan. So although we do not know what exactly caused the crash, but we're getting some information saying that the pilot, in fact, is steered away from the populated area. So, we have averted a bigger crisis, it seems, at this point.
Absolutely. This could have been a larger tragedy, and a lot of casualties on ground could have been reported. However, the quick action and reaction of the pilot did manage to save a lot of lives, and we are still looking into the incident, and the details are still coming in, as this is an ongoing report.
Right, Ashana. Also, if you could tell us what kind of aircraft was this which was involved in the accident?
It is a military training aircraft. It is a trainer aircraft with a capacity of two people. Now, what we do know right now is that this was a routine training flight that was happening, and that during this training flight only this incident happened.
All right. And now my colleague Shavan is also joining me with more details on this. Shavan, we are given to understand that although we do not know the cause of the crash, but the pilot did try to steer away from the populated areas, so which means we have averted a bigger crisis, it seems.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt about the fact that the pilots, the reason why they steered away was primarily because this was just moments after the takeoff when a technical glitch was basically reported, and ensuring that this particular aircraft does not crash in a populated area is when they steered away and crashed near a pond, is what we are being told. But we do have a confirmation that the pilots are essentially safe. This happens to be an Indian Air Force's microlight aircraft, which is essentially used for training purposes. And soon after the takeoff is when this glitch was basically reported. Not very sure whether at all this is linked to an engine failure, but that clarity only is going to come in after an inquiry is basically carried out. As we speak, the rescue operation is being carried out. It is also called as an IF glider, which is basically used in these operations, or rather in training missions. In fact, it turns out that both the pilots who were undergoing substantial amount of training, in fact, they've carried out a sortie earlier. And this, in fact, this morning, it was just a little after noon when they took off from the Prayagraj military airport, and immediately thereafter a glitch was basically reported and resulting in this crash just next to a pond. Right now the relief operation, the rescue and relief operation is also being carried out in that particular area. Remember, this is considered to be a populated area, and this was within the visibility range, because of which we are given to understand that they were in a position to perhaps steer away from the populated areas, looking at a barren area where the landing actually took place. Major Samarpal Tur is also joining us on this broadcast. Major Tur, just a quick check with regards to what's really happening with regards to this case. All that we can confirm right now is that both the pilots are safe. Interestingly, they steered away from a populated area. From the images that are now coming in, it seems that it was quite a densely populated area where the crash has taken place.
Well, Shravan, you see, these are the aircrafts which are basically very small in size, and these are used for training of the pilots, especially in terms of navigation. And these are aircrafts which do not have very high speeds. They are very small, lightweight training aircrafts, and they are basically used for sorties. And they are mainly used for training missions. And this is the main purpose of a microlight aircraft. And it having crash landed at a location, you see, it takes majority. If you see the design of the microlight aircraft, the main body is small, but the wingspan is very large. So basically, it glides into the air and covers large distances with very less effort from the engine. So keeping in mind, I certainly feel that either there would have been some turbulent winds or a very severe air pocket, which would have caused the aircraft to probably lose control and have a sudden loss of height during its flight path. So I certainly feel that the training has actually been useful, looking at the way how they have landed in an emergency at a certain location, clear of the population, without any casualties on the ground, and they themselves being safe. I think the training has come into place in this incident, and I certainly feel that the flight recorder data will be the one after investigations which will reveal what has actually gone wrong or what technical glitches happened to it. But otherwise, this aircraft is glitch-free. It doesn't have a track record which is of any worry. And there have been only 2 incidents regarding a microlight, last in 2016. So let us see what the investigations tell. But otherwise, I am happy that all's well that ends well, and the pilots are safe and there are no casualties. Shravan.
Right, Major Samarpal Tur, Ishita here. I just wanted to ask, with the kind of situation that has developed right now, what kind of procedures we're given to understand routine procedures are underway at this point. If you could help us explain what exactly would be now taking place at the site.
You see, Ishita, right now, after the crash takes place, it has a transponder. So the transponder of the aircraft, once it is put in an emergency crash land, the pilot puts onto the emergency transponder and gives a mayday call. And once the aircraft is given out a mayday call, so the ATC at all times is aware of the lat long and the grid reference of the aircraft where it is crash landed. And immediately the nearest police stations, the Air Force teams, and the nearest military garrison is informed regarding this incident. So we have called someone called GLOs, that is Garrison Liaison Officer. So GLOs are the ones who are from the Army garrisons who coordinate with the Air Force for any such flights which take place and training sessions. So probably after that they will cordon off the area. Then a aircraft recovery team will be there on the spot. They will gather all the components of the aircraft and then will take it to the location where it is actually stationed. And from there, the recording device will be procured and will be sent probably to Delhi, to the Air Force station in Delhi, where they have a workshop where they're going to analyze this data and they're going to tell us whether it is a technical glitch or whether it was an environmental hazard that caused the crash of the microlight aircraft.
All right, Major Sanpal, thank you for joining us and putting these developments into perspective for our viewers. And now viewers, moving on to another news. TTV Dinakaran, leader of the AMMK, has now rejoined the NDA, and this is months ahead of Tamil Nadu Assembly polls. Now viewers, this comes months after he exited the alliance, citing arrogance by AIA-DMK leader and former Chief Minister EPS. Now this time Dinakaran told the media after rejoining NDA that those who compromise do not lose. In the presence of, in fact, Union Minister Piyush Goyal, Dinakaran said that this is a new beginning and the alliance will strive to form a new government in Tamil Nadu. That's a big statement coming in from TTV Dinakaran, who's now rejoined the NDA alliance right ahead of assembly polls in Tamil Nadu. Viewers, we're looking at an anti-DMK front getting consolidated in the state right ahead of assembly elections. And now my colleague Sharda is joining me with more on this. Sharda, we're looking at an anti-DMK front getting consolidated. You have TTV Dinakaran joining NDA. Help us understand, how this is going to impact the politics in the state now.
Well, this is a huge move for the NDA alliance because they came with the anti-DMK stance when they announced last May Amit Shah had come down. The major party, AIADMK and BJP had joined, following which multiple smaller parties, which includes PMK's Andumani Ramdas factor, had joined them just 2 weeks back. And now AMMK leader TTV Dinakaran, who left the NDA alliance just a few months back, has taken a U-turn and come back to NDA alliance, stating that their only goal is to put down the DMK government and that they are okay to forget and forgive Edappadi K. Palaniswamy, whom they claim to be the traitor of J. Jayalalitha, whereas Edappadi K. Palaniswamy also says the same thing about TTV Dinakaran. The main question that comes after TTV Dinakaran's announcement is if Edappadi K. Palaniswamy is going to share the dais with TTV Dinakaran or not. And the main question is also that we know that TTV Dinakaran just a few minutes back speaking to us told us that in an exclusive conversation that he agrees Edappadi K. Palaniswamy as the NDA's chief ministerial candidate. And also now the important question here lies is on the seat sharing process, whether if AMMK is going to occupy the seats that is given by the ADMK leaders, or if the ADMK is going to separate a number of shares for NDA, and under NDA if the AMMK is going to select this seat sharing for the coming elections, is what the important question that we are going to ask at this moment.
So Sharda, it seems that both EPS and Dinakaran, they put their issues back in the past. Let's also listen into what the reaction has come in from Dinakaran on this.
I am very happy and I am very glad that I have rejoined NDA. Surely we are going to form our Amma's government in Tamil Nadu, because in 2021, Honorable Amit Shah ji tried for this to bring Amma's government. Now he succeeded in it. Surely we are going to form Amma's government in Tamil Nadu. Sir, it was only same family and we are all brothers. We had fight. Now I have forgotten everything. See, in the interest of Tamil Nadu and the interest of my party, I have given up everything. Only my thought is, only there is in my mind that we should form NDA government in Tamil Nadu.
All right, viewers, time for a special segment called Bharat in One. Let's get started. A heavy police force was deployed outside the residence of Shankaracharya, the mastermind behind the 2024 Sambal violence. Now his property located in one of the city's posh areas has been attached as per court orders. Security personnel belonging to the Chandigarh crime branch arrested 2 men in connection with a firing incident in sector 32 of the city. Police and a CFSL team later arrived at the spot near sector 39, where an encounter had been carried out between the police and the gangsters. The Raipur Municipal Corporation had demolished the illegal constructions of Sajid Ansari, who was recently accused of raping a minor. Now, the demolition was carried out in the presence of police personnel at the site. All right, viewers, on the other side, Sanjay Kapoor's inheritance battle in court. Mother Rani Kapoor moves Delhi High Court to scrape family trust, alleges forgery by Priya Sachdev.
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, शंकराचार्य और प्योर मसाला।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
At Amity University's 2-week summer school, students of classes 9 to 12 get to explore future undergraduate programs as per their interest from over 30 disciplines. Students attend lectures by Amity University faculty, gain experience at over 400 labs and learning studios, and attend personality enhancement workshops. Register now at amity.edu/summer school.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Shankaracharya Avani Mukteswaranand sends legal notice to UP government, says he will remain outside ashram until administration grants him due respect. Big boost to NDA, full head of Tamil Nadu elections. TTV Dhinakaran makes comeback to the NDA alliance. 30,000 crore Sanjay Kapoor inheritance battle in court. Rani Kapoor moves Delhi High Court to scrap family trust, alleges forgery by Priya Sachdev. An IF aircraft crashes into Pond, Prayagraj after pilot steers away from populated area to avoid casualties. 2 pilots reportedly injured. Trump's big statement amid tensions with Macron says will not be attending G7 meeting in Paris. Viewers, a chilling pattern is emerging from Kerala's Kasaragod district. Young women missing, families shattered, questions unanswered. Republic TV investigates disturbing allegations of radicalization through marriage. What locals describe as love jihad. Families claim young women were allegedly converted, indoctrinated, and then completely cut off from their loved ones. Some never returned. Some are believed to have absolutely vanished across borders. Others are alleged to have been pushed into extremist networks linked to banned terror outfits. From anguished parents searching for missing daughters to allegations of foreign and Gulf-based funding, this investigation exposes a dark underbelly that absolutely refuses to disappear. Here's more. Take a look.
Kasaragod in Kerala, a district now haunted by fear. Several women here have gone missing over the last few years. Conversion to Islam and forced marriages. And behind it, an ISIS module at work.
In the year 2017, as many as 21 people from various parts of Kasaragod, such as Trikaripur, Valapattanam and Padanna, joined IS. They were radicalized through so-called love jihad activities and other measures coordinated by various communal organizations such as Popular Front of India, and the Republic TV team visited Kasaragod to know the current status of these radicalized activities there. However, the results were shocking. We met a number of families whose life were spoiled due to this so-called love jihad and allied radicalized activities.
The radicalized men here follow hardline Salafi Islam, keeping away from mainstream Muslim society, and advocate violent jihad. Their aim to convert as many as they can. Republic went to Kasaragod, speaking to victims of the love jihad module. One of them is a CPM leader, PV Bhaskaran. He claims his own daughter was radicalized under the guise of medical treatment.
ഇവൻ കൊടുത്ത മരുന്ന് എൻ്റെ സംശയം നമുക്ക് വന്നു. അത് മറ്റേ ലഹരി മരുന്നാണ് ഇവൻ കൊടുത്തുകൊണ്ടായത്. അപ്പോൾ പെണ്ണിന് ഭയങ്കര വല്ലാണ്ടില്ല ആവേശവും കാര്യവും. പിന്നെ അന്ന് ഇവിടുന്ന് വീട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് തന്നെയാണ് ചികിത്സ, 2 മാസം ചില്ലറയും വീട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് തന്നെയാണ് ചികിത്സ നടത്തിയിട്ടുള്ളത്. ആ നടത്തിയ ശേഷം പറഞ്ഞ് എൻ്റെ പിന്നെ ഇതുണ്ട്, പിന്നെ ഇതല്ല ചികിത്സ നടത്തുന്ന റൂമുണ്ട് അവിടെ തൃക്കരിപ്പൂർ ഭാര്യ വീടാണ്. അങ്ങനെ അവിടെ കൊണ്ടുപോയി 1 മാസം വരെ അവിടെ നിന്ന് വീട്ടിൽ കൊണ്ടുവന്നിട്ടാകുമ്പോൾ ആകെ പ്രശ്നമായി. ഇവള് എന്തായാലും എൻ്റെ മരുന്നേ പറ്റുന്നില്ല രീതിയിൽ തന്നെയാണ് സംസാരിച്ചിട്ട് അവൾ എന്തായാലും നിൽക്കുന്നില്ല.
This left leader Bhaskaran reveals modules link to the banned extremist outfit the PFI. Despite the PFI ban, families reveal how the ideological influence never disappeared.
എനിക്ക് ഇപ്പോൾ സംശയം തോന്നിപ്പോകുന്നു. സംശയം ഇത് ഉറപ്പ് പറയാൻ കഴിയില്ല, കാരണം ഇല്ലത് നമ്മൾ തെറ്റായിട്ടുള്ള രീതിയിൽ പറഞ്ഞു വിടല്ലോ. സംശയം തോന്നിപ്പോകുന്നു. അവൻ്റെ പിന്നിൽ ആളുണ്ട്. അത് ഞാൻ സ്റ്റേഷൻ കംപ്ലൈൻറ്റിലും പറഞ്ഞു.
PV Bhaskaran belongs to the ruling party. But here's the most explosive allegation. He claims the terror funding is coming from the Gulf.
ഈ ഇവരൊരു ഗൾഫിൽ ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ളവർക്കൊരു ഫണ്ടുണ്ട് പോലും. അങ്ങനെയുള്ളവരെ സംരക്ഷിച്ചിട്ടില്ല വരുന്നതിന് സാമ്പത്തിക സഹായം കിട്ടുന്നതിലൊരു വിവരം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അത്
അപ്പോൾ കൊണ്ടുപോയാൽ
ഇത് കാശ് കിട്ടും. അതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് നമുക്ക് പഠിച്ചിട്ടില്ല. അതിങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ നാട്ടുമ്പുറത്ത് നേരത്തെ അറിയുന്ന കാര്യമാണ്.
This is retired military officer Ashokan KM. He claims his daughter fell into the love jihad trap. Her religion, her identity changed. She now refuses to speak to her family. Ashokan claims those who converted her have the chief minister's backing.
ഇത്തരം ഒരു സംഗതിയോട് എന്താ ചേട്ടൻ്റെ പ്രതികരണം എന്താ?
ഇതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് എനിക്ക് പറയാവുന്നത് ഇവളിപ്പോഴും അപകടാവസ്ഥയിലാണെന്നുള്ളതാണ് എനിക്ക് പറയാനുള്ളത്. ഇവൾ എന്തുകൊണ്ട് പൊതുമധ്യേ മനുഷ്യരുടെ ഇടയിലേക്ക് ഇവളെ ഇറക്കി വിടാത്തതിൻ്റെ? ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു അച്ഛനെയും അമ്മയും കാണാൻ പോലും അവകാശം ഇല്ലേ അവൾക്ക്? അതൊന്നും അവർ ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല. അപ്പോൾ അമ്മ മരിച്ചിട്ട് പോലും വരുന്നില്ല. ഇതെന്താ, ഇത് ഏത് മതമാണെന്ന്? ഇങ്ങനെയാണ്. ഇതൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് ഒരു പ്രശ്നമുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളാണിത്. അപ്പോൾ ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ ഇവിടുത്തെ ഗവൺമെൻറ് ഇപ്പോൾ മുഖ്യമന്ത്രി പിണറായി വിജയൻ അവർക്ക് വേണ്ടി സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഇപ്പം നമ്മുടെ കുട്ടികളെ കൈ വെച്ചിരിക്കുന്നവർക്ക് വേണ്ടി സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുകയാണ്. LDFും UDFും ഇവർ രണ്ടുപേരും ഇവരെ പിടിച്ചുകൊണ്ടേ നിൽക്കത്തുള്ളൂ. എപ്പോഴും അവർക്ക് വോട്ടിൻ്റെ പ്രശ്നമാണ്.
As part of the Kasaragod module, almost 20 people, men and women, vanished from this region. The pattern remained the same. Several days later, their families received messages claiming they will fight for the Islamic State now. This mother, whose daughter was indoctrinated, broke down on the Republic camera. This 28-year-old man who wants his identity withheld, he too is from Kasaragod. He told us how his sister was brainwashed by another radicalized individual.
എന്നാണ് മോൻ്റെ സിസ്റ്റർ പോയത്?
3 വർഷം.
3 വർഷം. അത് ആരാന്ന് അറിയാമായിരുന്നോ?
ഇല്ല.
പിന്നെ എപ്പോഴാണ് ആരാന്ന് കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചേ?
കേസ് കാര്യങ്ങളല്ലേ.
ആ പയ്യൻ ആരാന്ന് മനസ്സിലായോ?
മുസ്ലിം ചെക്കൻ.
This mother lost her son at the age of 23. Hafizuddin sent messages on WhatsApp claiming he had joined the Islamic State.
നമ്മളിത് ഈ വിവരം എന്ന് ആദ്യമായിട്ട് കേൾക്കുന്നത് മാധ്യമങ്ങളിലൂടെയാണോ അതോ ആരും വിളിച്ചപ്പോഴാണോ അറിയുന്നത്? മെസ്സേജ് കിട്ടില്ല. നമുക്ക് മെസ്സേജ് കിട്ടാം. എന്തും പറഞ്ഞ എന്താ മെസ്സേജിൽ എഴുതിയത്? ഞങ്ങൾ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ച നാട്ടിലെത്തി.
As we went from one home to the next, the story remained the same. Jasmine's brothers, Shiaz and Ijaz, joined Islamic State in 2017. They allegedly were killed in Afghanistan.
ഷിയാസിൻ്റെ ഇജാസിൻ്റെ വീടിതല്ലേ അത്? ഞാൻ ഡൽഹിയിൽ നിന്ന് വരുവാണേ. ഷിയാസ് ഇജാസും കല്യാണം കഴിച്ചതല്ലേ? അവരുടെ വൈഫ് ഇപ്പോഴും വൈഫിൻ്റെ പേര് ഇതാണോ? ഇവരെ എല്ലാവരും കൊണ്ടുപോയതാരാ അറിയോ? അറിയില്ല. ഈ കുടുംബത്തിലുള്ള എല്ലാവരെയാണോ ഒരു ടാർഗറ്റ്?
Hundreds of families in Kasaragod, Kerala say they continue to live in fear. Missing daughters, broken homes, unanswered questions. They call it love jihad, They say there's no other term to describe it except call it love jihad. In 2017, Republic flagged the Islamic State module. In 2026, once again, it's about national security.
These practices are continuing in the society as a social threat. The government must intervene to curb such practices from destroying the social harmony of Kerala.
Viewers, getting some updates coming in. An RAF aircraft has crashed into a port in Prayagraj. That's one of the top stories we're tracking right now. And 2 pilots are reportedly injured. So we will try to go across to Sagar, who is live, and we will try to understand what the situation is looking like. But you can see that a lot of relief work has already started. But see, when we first broke the story, we said the administration has taken notice, and now we see that relief work has already started. So the latest coming in the story, viewers, is that we see that the IAF microlight aircraft had crashed. The crew members are safe. The pilots steered away from the populated area. This is what the IAF is saying. We'll try to go across to Sagar in a short while from now, but there were two pilots inside, and both of the pilots have been injured. Now, what the condition is, we will come to know that in a short while from now. But the crew members are safe. The pilots steered away from the populated area. So, Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh, getting these pictures coming in. Rescue relief efforts have already started. And you can see that both the crew members are safe. They are injured. And the IAF is saying that the pilots steered away from the populated areas. Even though the aircraft was flying, and the pilots knew that there could be a crash. At the last moment, they steered away the aircraft from the populated area, and you can see that the aircraft crashed into a pond. This is not an area with population, so the pilots at the last moment, they avoided the populated area, they avoided the civilian area, and they moved that aircraft in a direction where there were less people or zero population. So we'll try to, of course, get across to our colleague Sagar in a short while from now to understand what the situation is looking like. But the latest is that we're getting for our viewers is that this is the IAF microlight aircraft. Crew members are safe. Okay, let's go straight across to Sagar, who's joining us live. Sagar, ये जो aircraft है, it's a microlight aircraft. Fell into a pond. Do we know कि ये जो crash हुआ था क्यों हुआ था? अभी कोई details आए हैं?
देखिए बिल्कुल शिवांगी, अगर हम बात करें तो रिपब्लिक भारत और रिपब्लिक मीडिया नेटवर्क उस स्पॉट पर पहुंचने वाला देश का पहला चैनल है जो दिखा रहा है लाइव तस्वीरें यहाँ की। सामने आप देखिए वो जो प्लेन है क्रैश होकर वहां पर गिरा हुआ है तालाब के बीचों बीच। बहुत दलदल नुमा ये तालाब है और ये पूरी जलकुंभी आपको हर तरफ दिखाई दे रही होगी। पहले क्या हुआ कि ये जो है प्लेन सोचा पायलट ने कि यहाँ पर लैंड कराया जाए, जैसे ही तकनीकी खराबी आई। अजय इधर जूम करिए, देखिए बगल में खेल का मैदान है जहां पर क्रिकेट मैच का आयोजन भी किया जा रहा है। तमाम देखिए यहाँ पर जगह यहाँ पर काफी अच्छी थी। जैसे ही पायलट को काफी दूर पहले लगा कि प्लेन में खराबी आई, यहाँ पर उतारा जाए, लेकिन यहाँ से जो है प्लेन ने अपना बैलेंस खो दिया। बैलेंस खोने के बाद जैसे ही तालाब देखिए यहाँ पर नहीं उतर पाया प्लेन, तो आगे जाने के बाद प्लेन जब क्रैश हुआ, पैराशूट खोल लिया जो लोग 5-6 लोग बैठे थे इस प्लेन के अंदर, फिर उसके बाद प्लेन जो है बीच में जाके तालाब के क्रैश हो जाता है। एनडीआरएफ की टीमें दूर आपको दिखाई दे रही होंगी जो पहुंच चुकी है राहत बचाव के लिए, और तमाम देखिए सैकड़ों लोग एकत्रित हो गए। और मैं जिस छत पर खड़ा होकर ये लाइव रिपोर्टिंग कर रहा हूं, ये बगल में स्कूल है। यहाँ पर इंटरमीडिएट स्कूल में लगभग 500 हजारों की संख्या में बच्चे कक्षा में अपनी पढ़ाई कर रहे थे, और फिर क्लासेस जब यहाँ पर चल रही थी तो देखिए क्लासेस भी डिस्टर्ब हुई। और ये तमाम देखिए अध्यापक हैं जो हमारे साथ हैं। अजय इधर आइए। और ये लोगों ने पूरी उस घटना को देखिए अपनी आंखों से देखा। क्या कुछ यहाँ पर हुआ था सर उस समय?
उस समय यहाँ क्लास चल रही थी। ये पीछे ये केपी इंटर कॉलेज का सबसे पीछे वाली बिल्डिंग है। आगे की बिल्डिंग में प्री बोर्ड एग्जाम चल रहा था। पीछे जो है तो आप हमारे यहाँ के इंग्लिश मीडियम के प्रभारी हैं, तो ये इधर क्लास चलवा रहे थे। हम लोग क्लास करके और नीचे जैसे उतरे थे, इनके पास बैठे, उतने में ही जो है तो आवाज़ आई। आवाज आई, हम लोग समझ नहीं पाए। हमको ये लगा कि किसी लड़के ने ऊपर से या तो बेंच गिरा दिया या कोई टीन शेड जो है तो
आवाज काफी तेज,
बहुत तेज आवाज थी, ऐसा लगे कोई टीन शेड वेड गिरता है, बिल्कुल वैसे ही बिल्कुल आवाज आई थी। तो हम लोग कहे क्या गिर गया, ऐसा तो नहीं बिल्डिंग कोई कोलैप्स गिर गई, क्या हो गया। तो हम लोग तुरंत बाहर निकले। तब तक इधर ग्राउंड से भी बच्चे भाग रहे थे, इधर से बच्चे भाग रहे थे। तो ये हुआ कि प्लेन क्रैश कर गया। तब हम लोगों ने नीचे से झांका, देखा उस समय ये पैराशूट जो है इनका खुला हुआ था।
अफरा तफरी का माहौल बन गया था।
तफरी के माहौल में पैराशूट खुलने से यह हादसा टला है, नहीं तो पैराशूट नहीं खुलता तो हमारी बिल्डिंग प्रभावित हो सकती थी।
डर था स्कूल यहाँ पर भी विमान गिरता तो बड़ा अनहोनी हो जाता।
हाँ बिल्कुल, निश्चित तौर पे यहाँ पे काफी हानि होती, आर्थिक हानि भी, और बच्चे भी उसमें खतरे में हो सकते थे। बस ये
तो आप लोगों ने देखा उस मंजर को अपनी आंखों से?
पैराशूट जैसे ही खुल गया था तो सब लोग देखने लगे कि क्या हो गया है, और पैराशूट खुल जाने की वजह से जो है सेफली जो है ये लोग उतर आए। जी जी,
पहले विमान ने कोशिश किया कि यहाँ लैंड किया जाए, लेकिन उसमें सफलता नहीं।
जी जी, बिल्कुल नहीं मिली। पैराशूट के कारण ही ये बचाव एक तरह से हो गया। अगर यहाँ न गिरा होता, कहीं सूखे वगैरह में गिरा होता तो हादसा निश्चित हो जाता।
देखिए शिवांगी, बिल्कुल जो तस्वीरें मैं दिखा रहा हूँ, तमाम वो टीचर्स जो क्लासेस में देखिए बच्चों को पढ़ा रहे थे। पहले विमान यहाँ पर कोशिश करता है कि यहाँ पर लैंड किया जाए, लेकिन उसमें देखिए यहाँ पर सफलता नहीं मिली। फिर तालाब में जाकर क्रैश हुआ। यहाँ से केवल 5 दूरी पर माघ मेले का आयोजन हो रहा है प्रयागराज में, जहां पर करोड़ों की संख्या में श्रद्धालु पहुंचे हुए हैं, आस्था की डुबकी लगा रहे हैं संगम में। अगर उस मेले के बीचों बीच अगर ये विमान गिरता तो एक बड़ी अनहोनी हो सकती थी। तो ऐसे में देखिए ईश्वर की कृपा रही कि बड़ी देखिए अनहोनी टल गई, नहीं तो प्रयागराज में आज के दिन दुखद खबर होती है। ऐसे में इस स्कूल पर भी विमान अगर नहीं गिरा तो ये भी देखिए एक बड़ा हादसा टला। महज केवल 100 मीटर की दूरी पर भी ये स्कूल नहीं है जहां पर विमान ये क्रैश हुआ। मात्र 100 मीटर से भी कम की ये दूरी है, 50 से 60 मीटर दूरी है विमान से स्कूल की। अगर यहां पर गिरता जहां पर सैकड़ों की संख्या में, हजारों की संख्या में बच्चे पढ़ाई कर रहे थे, तो आप सोचिए क्या होता। ये पूरी इमारत देखिए गिर जाती, और इस पूरी देखिए इमारत को यहाँ पर क्षति पहुंचती। जो बच्चे यहाँ पर पढ़ाई कर रहे थे उनके साथ भी कोई बड़ी घटना हो सकती थी। इसीलिए जो तमाम जो अध्यापक हैं वो बच्चों को देखिए उस डर से निकालने के लिए उन्हें समझा रहे, क्योंकि इस छत पर लगभग सैकड़ों की संख्या में बच्चे आ गए, उन्हें कंट्रोल करना भी बड़ी चुनौती रही। अब ऐसे में वहां दूर एनडीआरएफ की टीमें पहुंची हैं, सेना का हेलीकॉप्टर भी कुछ देर के बाद यहाँ पर आपको दिखाई देगा, जो उस विमान को इस तालाब के बीचों बीच से निकालेगा। उसमें भी कई सारी कठिनाइयां और चुनौतियां आने वाली हैं। शिवांगी, बैक टू स्टूडियो।
Right. Sagar, thank you for getting those details. Exclusive pictures coming in here on Republic TV of the IAF aircraft which crashed. The 2 pilots were inside. They're injured, but they are safe. Thank you so much, Sagar, for getting us those live pictures exclusive on Republic TV. And viewers, we'll move ahead right now to some of the other stories that we're tracking on Republic TV. Ladies and gentlemen, we see there is a development coming in. A shallow promise means nothing unless it guarantees progress for the people. Join Arnab Goswami in Republic TV's Progress for the People campaign as he exposes how negligence is no accident but a betrayal of public trust. Arnab returns with fiery debates, dissecting governance failures, demanding accountability, and championing real progress for India's people.
The visuals of a car being pulled out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Grand Vitara car. Inside it, Yuvraj Mehta, a 27-year-old techie, crashed 500 meters from his home in Greater Noida. There was fog and poor lighting, and there was a broken wall. He didn't know which way he was driving. The barricade had not been built. It was the government's job to ensure that the barricade was built, but they did not care. Ladies and gentlemen, this visual, see it again, of a car being pulled out of a pit. A citizen dies, a young man dies, just 27-year-old, calls his father, says, "Father, save me, I don't want to die." But even in his last moments, the government did not care. And Yuvraj Mehta, just 27-year-old, died because the government did not do its job, because the government could not build a barricade, ladies and gentlemen. And that is why we feel that progress means nothing if it is not progress for the people. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not just about a young man who dies. It's about the direction our country is taking. On the one hand, we are told by the EU in Davos, where billionaires meet, that India is going to sign the mother of all deals with the European Union. And the European Union is so excited that they're going to cater to a market of 2 billion people, accounting for a quarter of global GDP. The EU is so happy. They're going to make so much money through that deal with India. But these statistics means nothing, because the reality are the visuals from Chhindwara. When newborn kids prescribed cold reef by a now suspended doctor, the mother stares at the photographs of a beloved child who dies in her arms after consuming poison that she thought was a life-saving medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, what happens? A few suspensions at the FDA. The poor children who die, their parents don't even get an answer. Those who had to make money, make money. And in our country, young children are given poison and they die. And therefore, we must demand progress for the people, because on the one hand, Nitin Gadkari's road transport ministry is busy winning 4 Guinness records in highway constructions. Congratulations, Mr. Gadkari. The NHI is saying we are laying 10,675 MT of bituminous concrete on economic corridors, 29 kilometers stretch continuously in 24 hours. Congratulations, Mr. Gadkari. But on the other side, I would like Mr. Gadkari and everyone else to see and remember what happened at the IAS Academy, where torrential rain on 27th July 2024 flooded the basement where children who wanted to be civil servants were studying. The water entered the area. They had nowhere to go. The municipality didn't do its job. The government didn't do its job. And ladies and gentlemen, those who wanted to serve the country as bureaucrats died flooded in a basement. We are told today that we should not be talking about these things, because we should only be talking about good things, like Ashwini Vaishnav's railway ministry celebrating the construction of the world's highest railway arch bridge, 259 meters above the Chenab River. I'm sure it looks beautiful. I'm told it's taller than the Eiffel Tower. But on the other hand, Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav should also see visuals of the Indrayani bridge collapsing from last year. The bridge, ladies and gentlemen, collapses near Pune, 4 people die. The bridge is broken into 2 sections. They lie submerged in the river below. Large crowds gather. The bodies are washed away. And hence we must ask ourselves, do we want to be a country of contrasts? Great events, big talk of development, Guinness Book records, big talk. Talk about heavy investment in the semiconductor industry. Talk about 76,000 crores outlay into the semiconductor mission. 100% FDI in electronics manufacturing. But what does it mean? What does it mean for you and me? We remember what happened in the baby care hospital in East Delhi's Vivek Vihar. Children still die like this, and we are talking about becoming a semiconductor hub. There has to be some balance. There has to be some fairness. There has to be justice. You can't have semiconductors and rockets and Guinness Book records in highway construction and the world's highest arch bridge. All of this looks very good, but the reality is we are a country where there is a body, a charred infant who dies in the fire and nobody can do anything. Nobody likes to see these contrasts. I'm sure the government doesn't like to see these contrasts. They say, we built a Central Vista project, 20,000 crore rupees, very good. New parliament, new secretariat, new offices, very good, very fancy, fantastic. I'm sure Lutyens is going to become more glamorous. But please remember what happened in the gaming zone in Rajkot. Remember, this is another side of India. And don't blame Arnab for showing you the contrast. See these plumes of smoke. Think of the people who died. Think of the rules broken. And that's why I want to go back tonight to that one visual of the car being pulled out from the water. It is not a car being pulled out of a water, ladies and gentlemen. It's not of a crane pulling a car out from the water. Inside that car was a young man with aspirations, with hopes, with a career, with a family waiting for him. So when we pull out the carcass of the car, remember, and I tell those in power, remember and remember again, that statistics are not development.
And viewers, that's all we have for now, but do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. It's a big win for the NDA in Tamil Nadu. Before elections, Dinakaran returns to the NDA fold. All this and much more coming right up. Keep watching Republic TV.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets they wouldn't believe.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरी राजा, शंकराचार्य आर प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
A very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching the Republic TV. This is Shivam Dutt Mehta, and our top focus in this bulletin will be Shankaracharya Avimukteshwaranand has sent a legal notice to UP government. Now, he has also said that he will remain outside ashram until administration grants him due respect. Now, remember, he was earlier questioned for using the title of Shankaracharya. We'll get you this story and a lot more. But first up, the headlines. Shankaracharya Avimukteshwaranand sends legal notice to UP government, says he will remain outside ashram until administration grants him due respect. Big boost to NDA, fold ahead of Tamil Nadu elections. TTV Dhinakaran makes comeback to NDA alliance. 30,000 crore Sanjay Kapoor inheritance battle in court. Rani Kapoor moves Delhi High Court to scrap family trust. Alleges forgery by Priya Sachdev. Also, an Indian Air Force aircraft crashes into a pond in Prayagraj after pilot steers away from populated area to avoid civilian casualties. Now, 2 pilots are reportedly injured. Trump's big statement amid tensions with Macron, says won't be attending G7 meeting in Paris. All right, viewers, let's begin with the first top story. Now, a chilling pattern is emerging from Kerala's Kasaragod district. Now, young women, missing families, shattered questions unanswered. Republic TV investigates disturbing allegations of radicalization through marriage, what locals describe as love jihad. Now, families claim young women were allegedly converted, indoctrinated, and then completely cut off from their loved ones. Now, some never returned. Some are believed to have vanished across borders. Others are alleged to have been pushed into extremist networks linked to banned terror outfits. From anguished parents searching for missing daughters to allegations of foreign and Gulf-based funding, this investigation exposes a dark underbelly that refuses to disappear.
Yesterday, there was a debate in the Republic TV, in 2017, around 21 members from some Muslim families in Kasaragod, from Padanna, Thirukkaripur and Balapattanam joined IS, and they sent a message stating that they reached their final destination and they are fighting for the Islamic Republic, Islamic State. And when we were in Kasaragod for 1 week, and we examined the current status of such practices, such radicalized activities in Kasaragod, and we met even the CPM leaders in Kasaragod. We met a number of families, more than 20 families we met, and we recorded all the statements of these people. They say such practices are still continuing in Kerala, in Kasaragod, especially in the northern parts of Kerala. So love jihad, other radicalized activities, and the PFI was banned. Even though it was banned, the activities of PFI has been taking place through the banners of STPI, Jamaat and all the other communal-based organizations. So why the state government, even the UDF, are not even willing to speak a single word against such radicalized activities in the state?
So what is there? What am I to say? It's okay. Let them to see. This country is a democratic country, as I said in the very first thing, and this country cannot be a theocratic state, cannot be ruled by one religion, one thing, and it is a democracy here. We are living in a very good atmosphere. Nobody should try to disturb that. That's all.
Okay. Thank you. Yesterday, there was a debate in the Republic TV, in 2017, around 21 members from some Muslim families in Kasaragod, from Padanna, Thirukkaripur and Balapattanam joined IS, and they sent a message stating that they reached their final destination and they are fighting for the Islamic Republic, Islamic State. And when we were in Kasaragod for 1 week, and we examined the current status of such practices, such radicalized activities in Kasaragod, and we met even the CPM leaders in Kasaragod. We met a number of families, more than 20 families we met, and we recorded all the statements of these people. They say such practices are still continuing in Kerala, in Kasaragod, especially in the northern parts of Kerala. So love jihad, other radicalized activities, and the PFI was banned. Even though it was banned, the activities of PFI has been taking place through the banners of STPI, Jamaat and all the other communal-based organizations. So why the state government, even the UDF, are not even willing to speak a single word against such radicalized activities in the state?
So what is there? What am I to say? It's okay. Let them to see. This country is a democratic country, as I said in the very first thing, and this country cannot be a theocratic state, cannot be ruled by one religion, one thing, and it is a democracy here. We are living in a very good atmosphere. Nobody should try to disturb that. That's all.
Right, viewers, now let's move on and get you all the top national stories in Bharat in 1 minute. A heavy police force was deployed outside the residence of Shankaracharya, the mastermind behind the 2024 Sambhal violence. His property, located in one of the city's posh areas, has been attached as per court orders. Security personnel belonging to the Chandigarh crime branch arrested 2 men in connection with the firing incident in Sector 32 of Chandigarh. Police and CFSL team later arrived at the spot near Sector 39, wherein an encounter had been carried out between the police and the gangsters. The Raipur Municipal Corporation demolished the illegal constructions of Sajjad Ansari, who was recently accused of raping a minor. The demolition was carried out in the presence of police personnel. All right, viewers, now let's move on to our next top story. Now, war of words took place between French President Emmanuel Macron and US President Donald Trump. Now, Macron declined to comment on a private text message exchange with US President Donald Trump, which Trump made public during the World Economic Forum in Davos. Now, as questions swirled over Macron's proposal for a possible G7 meeting in Paris, the French leader instead focused his remarks on global governance, trade tensions, and Europe's need for greater strategic autonomy.
A series of private text messages between Trump and French President Emmanuel Macron over Greenland and other strategic issues have sensationally been released. Macron walked past reporters at the World Economic Forum in Davos without commenting on the messages shared publicly by US President Donald Trump. The alleged note from Macron suggested a G7 meeting in Paris, possibly including Denmark, Ukraine, and Russia. Macron, on the other hand, warned that global cooperation is being weakened as collective governance erodes.
This is as well a shift towards a world without effective collective governance, and where multilateralism is weakened by powers that obstruct it or turn away from it, and rules are undermined. And I can multiply the examples of international bodies weakened or left by the key economies. And when we look at the situation, it's clearly a very concerning time, because we are killing the structure where we can fix the situation and the common challenges we have. Without collective governance, cooperation gives way to relentless competition.
He singled out trade practices and tariffs as unacceptable and damaging to Europe's sovereignty.
Competition from the United States of America through trade agreements that undermine our export interests, demand maximum concessions, and openly aim to weaken and subordinate Europe, combined with an endless accumulation of new tariffs that are fundamentally unacceptable, even more so when they are used as leverage against territorial sovereignty.
The French president stressed Europe's need for greater autonomy and a stronger, more effective multilateral system.
Faced with the brutalization of the world, France and Europe must defend an effective multilateralism because it serves our interests and those of all who refuse to submit to the rule of force. And for me, the two answers are, on one side, more sovereignty and more autonomy for the Europeans. On the other side, an efficient multilateralism to deliver results through cooperation. Obviously, France and Europe are attached to national sovereignty and independence, to the United Nations and to its charter. And it's not an old-fashioned way to live multilateralism.
Macron also urged Europe to use its mechanisms when rules are not respected.
Europe has very strong tools now, and we have to use them when we are not respected and when the rules of the game are not respected, by the way. The anti-coercion mechanism is a powerful instrument, and we should not hesitate to deploy it in today's tough environment.
As questions about Trump and Greenland continued to swirl, Macron called on Europe to unite and push back. Following the leaked messages, Trump threatened to impose 200% tariffs on French wines and champagnes to pressure Macron. Tensions escalated further when Trump faced open criticism in the European Parliament.
You might understand. Mr. President,
with opinions divided globally, Greenland has now emerged as a flashpoint in international geopolitics, a symbol of the growing rift between US assertiveness and Europe's push for sovereignty and multilateralism.
Right, viewers, let's move on to our next big story that we are getting right now at this moment. Breaking news coming in on the Shankaracharya controversy. Now, Shankaracharya Avimukteswaranand will not perform worship at the ashram. The worship of 1,25,000 shivlings remain incomplete. Now, the Shankaracharya, as per him, will remain outside the ashram until the administration grants him a due respect. Now, the Yogi government, the authorities have challenged why he is using the Shankaracharya title. So he has already been issued a notice, and a notice has been issued to Swami Avimukteswaranand over the alleged use of a Shankaracharya claim. Can he use a Shankaracharya title? That has been alleged, that has been asked. A notice has been issued, and he has also sent a notice to the UP government, to the administration. The Magh Mela administration in Prayagraj had earlier issued a notice to Swami Avimukteswaranand Saraswati, and they were seeking an explanation for presenting himself as the Shankaracharya of the Jyotish Peeth. The notice was served on Monday, in which the Mela administration was seen citing a Supreme Court order that bars the appointment of any Shankaracharya. All right, so Shankaracharya Avimukteswaranand spoke to us. Let's watch what he said.
स्वामी जी, जो जवाब दिया गया, जो आरोप लगाए गए थे प्रशासन की तरफ से, अधिवक्ता ने ईमेल के जरिए जिक्र किया कि ये सब पूरी तरह से गैर कानूनी है, वो इसके खिलाफ आगे याचिका भी दायर करेंगे सुप्रीम कोर्ट में। क्या कुछ कहा गया उसमें?
ऐसा है कि ये बियॉन्ड ज्यूरिस्डिक्शन, अपने क्षेत्राधिकार का अतिक्रमण करके ये नोटिस हमको उनके द्वारा भेजी गई थी। जो माघ मेला प्राधिकरण है, उसका गठन जिस एक्ट से किया गया है, उसमें कहीं नहीं लिखा है कि माघ मेला का प्राधिकरण यहाँ पर आने वाले साधु संतों की डिग्निटी के परीक्षा करेगा। ये मर्यादा के अतिक्रमण का मामला है, शिष्टाचार की तिलांजलि देने का मामला है। लेकिन यहाँ के प्राधिकरण ने ये सब परवाह छोड़ दी और छोड़ करके हमसे पूछा कि अपने नाम के आगे जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य क्यों लिखे हो। तो जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य हमने अपने नाम के आगे नहीं लिखा है, हमारा नाम ही अब जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य है। वो उनको अभी ये बात नहीं समझ में आई है, पता नहीं है। ये जो जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य है, ये ऐसा पद नहीं है कि यहाँ पर कोई बैठे तो जब तक बैठा है तब तक वो अमुक कहा जाए। ये जीवन पर्यंत के लिए अभिषिक्त आचार्य होता है, और जैसे ही इस पद पर विराजमान होता है वो आदि शंकराचार्य का स्वरूप हो जाता है। भगवान शंकराचार्य जी ने मठामनाय महानुशासन में कहा है कि उक्त लक्षण संपन्न परिभ्राडुक्त लक्षण अहमेवेति विज्ञेयः यस्य देव इति श्रुते है। इसका मतलब कि मेरे पीठ पर मेरे द्वारा बताए गए लक्षणों से संपन्न जो आचार्य अभिषिक्त हो जाएगा वो मेरा ही स्वरूप है, मैं ही हूँ। अहम एव इति विज्ञेयः, मैं ही हूँ, ऐसा मेरे मानने वाले माने। तो वो ही हैं, आदि शंकराचार्य ही हैं। तो हमारे नाम के आगे हमने नहीं जोड़ा है, हमारा नाम अभिमुक्तेश्वरानंद नहीं है, हमारा नाम इस समय जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य है। अभिमुक्तेश्वरानंद इसलिए लगाया गया है उसको हटाया इसलिए नहीं गया कि व्यवहारिक बोध भी लोगों को होता रहे, क्योंकि जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य मात्र कहेंगे तो आदि शंकराचार्य का बोध होने लगेगा, इसलिए ये नाम भी उसमें संयुक्त किया गया है। लेकिन हमारा ये असल में नाम है। ये जो धार्मिक हमारी बारीकी है, इसको क्या अधिकारी समझेंगे और क्या नेता समझेंगे, वो ऐसा प्रश्न हमसे पूछते हैं। और चूंकि उन्होंने पूछ ही लिया, लाज शर्म छोड़ के, लिहाज छोड़ के, तो फिर स्वाभाविक है। हमारे कार्यालय ने हमसे कहा था कि उन्होंने 24 घंटे में जवाब चाहा है हम दे देंगे, और हमको आज सवेरे जब हम आए हैं हमको बता दिया गया कि रात को 24 घंटा पूरा हो उसके पहले ही उनको ईमेल से भी जवाब भेज दिया गया है। और हमारे लोगों ने प्रिंट आउट निकाल करके जा करके वहाँ रिसीव भी कराना चाहा, लेकिन वहाँ उनके कार्यालय में भी वीडियो भी बनाया है, पूरे कार्यालय में कोई नहीं था उनके। वो रात को 12 बजे के बाद कानून गो भेजते हैं शंकराचार्य जी के यहाँ कि अभी रिसीव करिए। हमारे आदमी जब जाते हैं हम तो वहाँ पर भी तो कोई नहीं था। एक व्यक्ति खड़ा था, वो कहता था मैं तो चौकीदार हूँ, सवेरे आइए। तो फिर हमारे लोगों ने भी उनकी दीवार पे चस्पा कर दिया जवाब और आ गए।
तो आप लोगों ने भी 24 घंटे का वक्त दिया है।
अब 24 घंटे का वक्त, बात तो थी मन में कि हम भी कहें, लेकिन उनके स्तर पर उतरना ठीक नहीं है। हमने ये मान लिया कि इनका जवाब मांगा था इन्होंने, हमारे कार्यालय ने उसको दे दिया। हम चाहते हैं कि ये जो चाहते हैं वो हम न करें। ये क्या चाहते हैं कि हमने गौ माता की रक्षा का जो मुद्दा उठाया है उसको ये डिरेल करना चाहते हैं, उसको पटरी से हटाना चाहते हैं, उसको पीछे करना चाहते हैं, छुपाना चाहते हैं, इसलिए ये सब कर रहे हैं। तो हम इनके आशय को समझ करके अपना मुख्य जो हमारा उद्देश्य है उस पर केंद्रित अब होना चाहते हैं।
शंकराचार्य जी, इस कड़कड़ाती ठंड में 3 दिन बीत चुके हैं उस पूरे घटनाक्रम को, आज चौथे दिन भी आप बाहर बैठे हैं। अब ये सिलसिला कब तक चलता रहेगा?
देखिए, ये शंकराचार्य हमारे यहाँ 4 हैं, एक पूर्व, एक पश्चिम, एक उत्तर, एक दक्षिण। और आपको पता है हम उत्तर के शंकराचार्य हैं। उत्तर तो हिमालय में है, हमारा पीठ बद्रीनाथ में है, तो हम तो हिमालय के शंकराचार्य हैं। हमें ठंडी से क्या, हमें तो ठंड अच्छी लगती है, हमें ठंडी से कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। माइनस डिग्री में हमारे पूर्वज रहते आए हैं, हमें क्या दिक्कत है। हमारी कोई मांग नहीं है। मांगा किससे जाता है? जो हमसे ज़्यादा वैशिष्ट रखता हो, हम इनसे मांगेंगे। हमें क्या मांगना है? हम कुछ भी नहीं मांगते हैं इनसे, इनसे क्यों मांगेंगे? इसलिए हमारी कोई मांग नहीं थी। हाँ, हमारी टेक जरूर है, और वो इनसे नहीं है। हमारी टेक गंगा और यमुना की धारा से है कि आपके स्नान के लिए हम निकले थे, हमें क्यों वो नहीं मिला है। जब तक ससम्मान हमारा स्नान नहीं होगा हम शिविर में प्रवेश नहीं करेंगे। अभी यात्रा में ही हैं, समझ लो कि अभी स्नान के लिए निकले हैं, अभी स्नान के लिए रास्ता ही में हैं, ऐसा मान करके रास्ते में बैठे हैं।
मतलब कि अगर विधि विधान से आपका स्नान संपन्न हो जाएगा तो आश्रम में आप बैठने लगेंगे?
हाँ, स्वाभाविक है, फिर और कार्य करेंगे, और नहीं तो यहाँ से भी हमारा धर्म कार्य तो चल ही रहा है। इस समय हम यहाँ आए थे तो पूजा पाठ, देखिए हम कितना मन में दुख होता है। भगवान की पूजा हम प्रतिदिन 5 बार करते हैं, अब यहीं से दर्शन कर रहे हैं, है ना, केवल तर्पण दंड का कर पा रहे हैं। तो ये सब है। अभी गुप्त नवरात्रि चल रही है, इसमें हम लोग महापूजा करते हैं। वो हमारी महापूजा हमको अपने शिष्यों के माध्यम से करनी पड़ रही है। और जब हम यहाँ आए थे तो हमने सोचा था कि गौ माता की रक्षा के लिए, पहले हमारे मन में था कि भारत के हर हिंदू के घर में जा कर के हम अलग जगाएं, लेकिन ये व्यवहारिक नहीं है, संभव नहीं है। 7 लाख गांव हैं, संभव ही नहीं है हम पहुंच पाएँ। तो जब हम यहाँ आए तो हमको लगा कि ये तो पूरा लघु भारत है, धार्मिक भारत है, सब धर्म के लोग यहीं आए हुए हैं। तो अगर 5000 शिविर हैं, हमने पता किया माघ मेला के कार्यालय से, तो 5000 के लगभग शिविर उन्होंने बताए। तो हमने सोचा ये पकड़ में आ सकता है, तो 5000 शिविर के दरवाजे पे जाके अगर हम अलग जगाएं तो वो हमारी बात पूरे भारत में चली जाएगी। तो हमने वो शुरू कर दिया, गौ प्रतिष्ठा प्रेरणा यात्रा, और 500 से ज़्यादा शिविर के दरवाजे पे हम अभी तक जा चुके हैं। हमने वो काम अपना कंटिन्यू रखा है। 5000 शिविर के दरवाजे जा करके उनको जगाने का काम हमारा चलेगा। गौ माता की रक्षा हमारा कार्य मुख्य है, उसको हम आगे बढ़ाएंगे।
All right, viewers, let's move on to our next top story. Now, world leaders dominated day 2 of the World Economic Forum at Davos. Now, with strong messages on geopolitics, sovereignty, security, and the future of the global order. From Canada to Europe, China to the global south, leaders warned that the old system is under strain. Here is a report on all the developments at Davos.
Davos turned into a geopolitical sounding board, with leaders openly acknowledging that the rules-based international system is facing its most serious test since the end of the Cold War. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney delivered one of the most hard-hitting speeches, saying the rules-based international order is breaking down.
It seems that every day we're reminded that we live in an era of great power rivalry, that the rules-based order is fading, that the strong can do what they can and the weak must suffer what they must. And this aphorism of Thucydides is presented as inevitable.
Carney said that economic security and national security are now inseparable, calling for resilient supply chains and stronger global institutions. French President Emmanuel Macron warned that rising geopolitical ambitions must not come at the cost of international law and territorial integrity.
We are killing the structure where we can fix the situation and the common challenges we have. Without collective governance, cooperation gives way to relentless competition. Competition from the United States of America through trade agreements that undermine our export interests, demand maximum concessions, and openly aim to weaken and subordinate Europe, combined with an endless accumulation of new tariffs that are fundamentally unacceptable.
Greenland is not for sale. That warning was echoed by Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen, who firmly rejected any suggestion that Greenland could become a geopolitical bargaining chip. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer cautioned that a fragmented world weakens democracies and strengthens instability.
One of the things that's been, impressed on me since I've been here is the absence of the United Kingdom, and that's why it's really important that I'm here and that our Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves is here as a statement of intent that should there be a change of government, and I hope there will be, the United Kingdom will play its part on the global stage in a way I think it probably hasn't in recent years.
Chinese Premier Li Keqiang called for dialogue, stability and resistance to protectionism, projecting China as a supporter of multilateral cooperation. India used the platform to amplify the voice of the global south, stressing fair access to finance, technology and climate resources. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa highlighted the imbalance in climate responsibility and impact.
Around the world and nations, humanity simply cannot progress. Now, as we confront the challenges of the 21st century, from climate change to pandemics, to addressing the challenge of poverty, to terrorism, from migration to artificial intelligence, we are in many ways once again called upon to harness that most powerful and most enduring of human attributes, mutually beneficial cooperation and collaboration.
Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani stressed that diplomacy and regional stability are essential to protect global energy security. From Europe to Asia, Africa to Latin America, leaders struck the same chord. The world is entering a phase of uncertainty, and inaction could deepen global divisions. Day 2 at Davos revealed a rare political consensus that the old global order is weakening, and whether it fractures under pressure or reforms for a new era now depends entirely on the choices world leaders make.
All right, viewers, time to slip into a short commercial break, but don't go anywhere. Coming up next, 30,000 crore Sanjay Kapoor inheritance battle in court. Rani Kapoor moves Delhi High Court to scrap family trust. Alleges forgery by Priya Sachdev.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला. Sip, sip, jeera, sip,
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
At Amity University's 2-week summer school, students of classes 9 to 12 get to explore future undergraduate programs as per their interest from over 30 disciplines. Students attend lectures by Amity University faculty, gain experience at over 400 labs and learning studios, and attend personality enhancement workshops. Register now at amity.edu/summer school.
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider.
You're watching live and breaking on Republic TV with me, Stamitra. Lots of stories lined up for you ahead, but first, let's take a look at the headlines at this hour.
आज सवेरे जब हम आए हैं हमको बता दिया गया कि रात को 24 घंटा पूरा हो उसके पहले ही उनको ईमेल से भी जवाब भेज दिया गया है।
Shankaracharya with Mukteshwaranand sends a legal notice to UP government, says he will remain outside ashram until administration grants him due respect.
Very glad that I have rejoined NDA. Surely we are going to form our Amma's government in Tamil Nadu.
Big boost to NDA fold ahead of Tamil Nadu elections. TTV Dinakaran makes a comeback to NDA alliance. ₹30,000 crore Sanjay Kapoor inheritance battle in court. Her mother Rani Kapoor moves a Delhi High Court to scrape a family trust. Alleges a forgery by Priya Sachdev. An IAF aircraft crashes into a pond in Prayagraj after pilot steers away from populated area to avoid casualties. 2 pilots reportedly injured.
Third, in terms of AI penetration, in terms of AI preparedness, and in terms of AI talent.
Donald Trump's big statement amid tensions with Europe. All right, viewers, the top focus at this hour. TTV Dinakaran, a leader of the AMK, has now rejoined NDA, and this comes months ahead of Tamil Nadu elections. In fact, this comes just after he exited the alliance, citing arrogance by AIADMK leader and former Chief Minister EPS. Now, Dinakaran told the media after rejoining NDA that those who compromise do not lose. In fact, in the presence of Union Minister Piyush Goyal, who's been given the charge of BJP in the state, Dinakaran said that this is a new beginning and that the alliance will in fact strive to form a new government in Tamil Nadu.
I am very happy and I am very glad that I have rejoined NDA. Surely we are going to form our Amma's government in Tamil Nadu, because in 2021, Honorable Amit Shah ji tried for this to bring Amma's government. Now he succeeded in it. Surely we are going to form Amma's government in Tamil Nadu. Sir, it was only same family and we are all brothers. We had fight. Now I have forgotten everything. See, in the interest of Tamil Nadu and the interest of my party, I have given up everything. Only my thought is, only there is in my mind that we should form NDA government in Tamil Nadu.
Senior leader of the NDA, my brother Thiru Dinakaran has decided to come back to the NDA family. Thiru Dinakaran was with my father in the Rajya Sabha in the period 2004 to 2007, and since then I have seen his good work, I have seen his popularity, I have seen his leadership skills, and all of us in the NDA, my elder brother and leader of AIADMK, Thiru Edappadi Palaniswamy ji, my brother and good friend Thiru Ambumani Ramadas, other colleagues in the NDA, Thiru Vasan, and many other friends are all committed to removing this corrupt DMK government, this incompetent DMK government, which is attacking the people of Tamil Nadu, which is attacking Tamil culture, which is attacking the Tamil pride about which we are all very hurt. We will all work together as one family. Senior leader of the NDA, my brother Thiru Dinakaran has decided to come back to the NDA family. Thiru Dinakaran was with my father in the Rajya Sabha in the period 2004 to 2007, and since then I have seen his good work, I have seen his popularity, I have seen his leadership skills, and all of us in the NDA, my elder brother and leader of AIADMK, Thiru Edappadi Palaniswamy ji, my brother and good friend Thiru Ambumani Ramadas, other colleagues in the NDA, Thiru Vasan, and many other friends are all committed to removing this corrupt DMK government, this incompetent DMK government which is attacking the people of Tamil Nadu, which is attacking Tamil culture, which is attacking the Tamil pride about which we are all very hurt. We will all work together as one family.
And now viewers, the shifting focus to Northeast, despite Manipur governor's January 12th assertion that no buffer zones exist in the state, villagers in Imphal East district have now raised concern over a large barricade near the Dulai Thabi barrage, claiming that effectively functions as a buffer zone on the ground. Now, local residents said that the barricade, located barely 300 meters from Dulai Thabi village and within about 23 kilometers, the Methi villages, contradicts the governor's statement and has disrupted the normal life by restricting movement and heightening security. Now, expressing apprehension over their safety, villagers also urged officials to open the barricade, stating that its continued presence undermines confidence and peace among the local communities. Now, viewers, take a look at Republic's ground report on this very issue.
In a shocking contradiction, Republic TV's investigation reveals that despite the governor's claim of no buffer zones, a de facto buffer zone exists in Imphal East Dulai Thabi barrage area. The governor claims that no buffer zones exist, but ground reality tells a very different story. When I spoke to the villagers in Imphal East, they said they are living behind barricades and it is being treated as a buffer zone, directly contradicting the governor's statement.
पुरुम के एरिया में एक बफर जोन होता है और ये दोलाई थाबी इसमें भी अभी बफर जोन है, पूरा बैरिकेड लगा के तीनों जगह तीनों साइड में पूरा बैरिकेड लगा के अभी तक कोई भी जा नहीं सकता है। अगर हम लोग का मैतई का 2-3 गांव अंदर में रह गया है, इसको जाने के लिए परमिशन मांगे तो अभी क्या सिक्योरिटी का अरेंजमेंट नहीं हो रहा है, ये नहीं हो रहा है। तो बिना मतलब अभी आप लोग के स्टेटमेंट में जो बफर जोन नहीं है बोलने से इनको जाने दीजिए, जो डिस्प्लेस पर्सन जो हो गया हमारा IDPs, इनको अपना अपना घर में जाने दीजिए, इनका घर बनाने दीजिए। तो अभी तक किसी गांव को हमारा मतलब लैतान पोकपी का एरिया में जो लड़ाई का वजह से जो जल चुका है तीनों चारों गांव, इसको अभी तक घर में जाने के लिए अपना जो पुराना वाला घर पुराना वाला गांव, इसको देखने के लिए अभी तक चांस ही नहीं मिल रहा है। तो आप कैसा मतलब इसका बारे में ये बफर जोन नहीं है वो मतलब कैसा बोल रहा है आप?
For the villagers, mobility is restricted, daily life is disrupted, and fear has replaced normalcy. Villagers are demanding the barricade be opened immediately, worrying that continued closure is eroding trust and peace.
Manipur Governor Ajay Kumar Vala has announced that there is no buffer zone in Manipur.
However, in Imphal Khundrakpam AC, this is Laitan Pokpi, located around 50 to 60 kilometers away from the capital Imphal. However, we see a big barricade over there. This is monitored by mainly by CRPF. So the next area beyond this buffer zone, it is Dolai Thabi, and next is Yangkuman, which is located 2 to 3 kilometers from this area, and next is Iko. Villagers also demand for a comprehensive resettlement and rehabilitation of displaced families, as they claim that without resettlement there can be no lasting peace in Manipur.
गवर्नर साहब को भी जितना बार हमने एप्लीकेशन दिया है ये वाला तीनों गांव को रीसेटलमेंट करने के लिए, तो इनका तरफ से, गवर्नमेंट का तरफ से, गवर्नर का तरफ से और हमारा डीसी का तरफ से अभी तक कुछ मतलब अंदर में किया होगा, फिर भी हम लोग को दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है अभी तक कुछ। इनका रीसेटलमेंट करने के लिए अंदर में जो क्या बोलता है सेंट्रल फोर्स का टीम होना चाहिए अंदर में, और इनका जो सेंट्रल फोर्स रहने के लिए जो क्या बोलता है इसको फैब्रिकेटेड हाउस बोलता है, वो बनाना चाहिए, अभी तक बनाया नहीं।
While the governor says there are no buffer zones, what I saw on ground is a clear contradiction, a clear ground reality. Barricades controlling villages in Imphal East.
Now, viewers, while Spain was already reeling under the crisis of a train crash that killed 42 people, another train crash has now taken place, leaving several injured and dead in the country. Take a look at this report.
While Spain still mourns for the 42 people who died in a train crash 2 days ago, another deadly accident has shook the nation. After a retaining wall fell onto the tracks, a Barcelona commuter train crashed in the town of Gelida, leaving one dead and many injured. The commuter train crashed about 35 minutes outside of Barcelona, with the driver of the train reported dead. Emergency services rushed to the spot. Regional firefighters say most of the injured were on board the first train car. 20 ambulances were sent to the site of the crash and injured taken to the hospital, where 5 are reported critical. As efforts are on to bring back train operations to normalcy, Spanish Prime Minister took to social media saying he stood in solidarity with the victims and their families. Probe is on for the deadly accident in southern Spain. However, another crash mere 2 days after it has raised eyebrows about the safety of passengers in the European nation.
All right, viewers, now the European Union and India are yet to finalize a landmark free trade agreement, calling it the mother of all deals. Now, this would create a massive market accounting for almost a quarter of global GDP, and this is said by EU President Ursula von der Leyen. She announced it at the World Economic Forum in Davos, stating that negotiations are in the final stages, and the agreement, in fact, is expected to now significantly boost trade ties, reduce EU's dependence on traditional partners, and also reshape the global trade flows. Now, remember, the EU is India's biggest trade partner, with bilateral trade in goods reaching up to $135 billion in 2023 to 2024. Now, this deal is seen as a strategic move amid rising protectionism and also the trade tensions underlying with the US at this point. Take a look at this report.
What Europe needs to do is have a strategic doctrine in the 21st century, wherein it includes India as the fourth pole of its strategic doctrine. Europe has not de-risked its national security dependency. It has dependency on America. Now, America walks away, Europe is left dangling.
French President Emmanuel Macron asked the European Commission to trigger its anti-coercion policy if U.S. President Donald Trump imposes more tariffs on the EU. Macron made this statement on January 17th, right after which Trump hit the EU with 10% tariffs for sending troops to Greenland on January 18th.
Everybody think in France, in the European Union, that Greenland is not to be sold, not to be taken. The situation in Greenland is clearly a wake-up call for all the Europeans. And let me tell you very directly that you are not alone. And when a strategic message is sent to you, I want just for you to know that it's clearly perceived by the Europeans as targeting a European land. And this flag you have here is our common flag. And we know our common values. And we know our long-standing choices. And this is why it's very important for French people and all the European people to convey very clearly this message of solidarity and the fact that we stand with you, now, for today, and for tomorrow.
Possibility is always there. The question is, what is the probability, right? The probability of the EU going down the path to use this Anti-Coercion Act as of now is low, but it is growing. The chances are growing that it could, decide to invoke the ACA. Now, the point is, of course, there are huge downsides to it. There's a huge, challenge. It will be uncharted territory for the European Union and, of course, the United States also, if it goes down this path. Also, it will mean that the rupturing of Europe with America will get more intense. So that is the decision which the EU is facing right now, either to go along with the United States, somehow agree to the conditions which the US is posing with regards to Greenland. It could go down that path very much and adjust and, in a way, bend down to what America is asking. That's one path. The other path, of which now there is a growing realization in Europe that they need to stand up, because if they do not stand up now, then America will continue in a way, bullying Europe. So the choice is difficult, but they have this tool. Yes, the Anti-Coercion Act, which was, I think, set into law in the year 2021, in response to China's pressures on Lithuania. Lithuania had opened up or allowed the opening of a representative office of Taiwan, which was named as Taiwan, not Taipei. Normally, it is Taipei office, like even in India, right? But it was named Taiwan. China got angry. China stopped all imports from Lithuania. China effectively blacklisted Lithuania. So the Europeans, they enacted a law that in case of a coercion by any outside power, it was meant to handle China, right? Which threatens Europe's trade or other interests. They set up this law, and it is a bazooka, or it is termed as a bazooka because it has very wide powers in that law. It is not only a law in terms of trade, tariff and counter tariff. It is not only that. It's not for only commercial war. It's for a geopolitical war. So Europe could invoke that, and that would mean not only tariffs on American goods, 10%, 25%, 100% also they could. It could also mean that Europe could, start investigations into American companies, tax investigations. It could also mean Europe could insist on data localization to a larger degree. It could also mean Europe could prosecute some of the tech companies for their algorithms like, Twitter and Insta or Facebook or TikTok, whichever. So there are a bunch of powers embedded in this act. That is why it is known as a bazooka. It will not, I think, help EU to save Greenland. If not an invasion, but let's say American occupancy or Greenland as a colony of America. The math, the numbers, the raw power are all with America. Europe is feeling, in a way, orphaned right now if the US withdraws its security umbrella. There are talks also that some of the EU the EU countries would ask America to wind up its military bases in Europe. Sure, they could ask that. But then what happens to European defense? They need to protect themselves from the Russian bear, which is out on their doorsteps. So Europe is caught between a cliff and and the deep sea. And yes, they could take a strong stance to signal that maybe enough is enough to America. But even beyond that signaling, I think it depends how matters spiral up or spiral down. See, if the EU invokes the bazooka and maybe slaps 10% tariff, not much, right? It's known as a bazooka. Bazooka means EU has a bunch of options in its portfolio, as I was explaining earlier, right? Tax investigations, data localization, revoking of intellectual property, all of those, and tariffs. Europe may decide not to do all of that, but only maybe impose 10% reverse tariff on America, just to signal that it's serious, right? And then it depends upon how America reacts, and then it could spiral up. Then Europe may go up to 50% tariff. If something like that happens, then it becomes a trade war. So I think the first step could be that Europe might invoke the Bazooka Act, but not fire the full bazooka, just impose only 10% tariffs on American goods, which itself is a big step. So Europe could test the waters that way with pushing back America. And then it remains to be seen. Probably America will come back with a much bigger hammer. Then will come the moment of decision for EU, to go ahead or not go ahead. If it decides to go ahead at that point of time, then things would very much spiral down. Not only a trade war, then Trump could straight off, land maybe a few hundred more troops and say that Greenland is ours. He could go down that part. And then would the Danish or the few soldiers there, would they fight the American troops? Then that would reach that point of fireworks. Not in the short term, but in the long run. EU has to update its security doctrine. So far, EU had been working on a three-pole strategy. America as one pole for trade and military security. Russia for resources, oil and gas and resources. And China as the factory for Europe. These were the three poles with which Europe was juggling. What Europe needs to do, and in this new world matrix which is emerging, Europe, all three of these poles are now wobbling for Europe. America is wobbling big time, Russia is wobbling, and China is a pole on which or with which EU has to do business, but it's not very much enamored of China. What Europe needs to do is have a strategic doctrine in the 21st century, wherein it includes India as the fourth pole of its strategic doctrine. So far, EU looks at India only transactional and some sector partnerships. Green energy, yes. Something, yes. Okay, Europe has to look at India in a holistic manner as a fourth pole in its 21st century strategic doctrine. But you see, this is what is going on. I mean, everyone may has their own name to the term Atmanirbharta. Each country is doing this right now, not only India. Every country, I think, since COVID, after COVID, especially the shock of COVID, and then the shock of the Russia-Ukraine war, and then the shock of Israel-Gaza, every country has woken up to the fact that they need to as much as maximize what they have. But the truth is that no country can live alone. Even India cannot. We may say Atmanirbharta, we may try. Sure, we will boost up some of our manufacturing, some of our sectors.
What does TTV Dinakaran's return to the NDA just months ahead of the elections really mean for the alliance? We'll tell you all about that and also get you the latest details of the inheritance battle that has now broken out in court in the Sanjay Kapoor legacy case. Fresh allegations have been hurled by Rani Kapoor, not just against Priya Sachdev, but against the deceased industrialist Sanjay Kapoor himself. All this and a lot more coming up on 6 Stories at 6 with me, Ayana Mitra.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला। MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे ये खुशबू दे ये तीखा ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरी राजा, शंकराचार्य प्योर मसाला।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over.
A very good afternoon, viewers. You're watching Live and Breaking, and I'm Rakshita Mishra with you. Let's get started with the top stories of the day that we are tracking for you.
में जवाब चाहे हम दे देंगे, और हमको आज सवेरे जब हम आए हैं हमको बता दिया गया कि रात को 24 घंटा पूरा हो उसके पहले ही उनको ईमेल से भी जवाब भेज दिया गया है।
Shankaracharya Avimukteshwaranand sends legal notice to UP government, says he will remain outside ashram until administration grants him due respect.
I am very glad that I have rejoined NDA. Surely we are going to form our Amma's government in Tamil Nadu.
It's a big boost to NDA fold ahead of Tamil Nadu elections. TTV Dinakaran makes a comeback to NDA alliance. 30,000 crores. Sanjay Kapoor inheritance battle in court. Rani Kapoor moves the Delhi High Court to scrap family trust. Alleges forgery by Priya Sachdev.
Third, in terms of AI penetration, in terms of AI preparedness, and in terms of AI talent.
Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav at the World Economic Forum says Stanford ranks India third globally in AI penetration, preparedness, and AI talent. European nations push back Trump at Davos, a Greenland annexation tantrum. So the big story we're tracking, viewers, the row over Shankaracharya Avimukteshwaranand. Now, the Prayagraj administration has issued a notice to controversial Avimukteshwaranand, and after he used the title Shankaracharya during a recent event sparking row that was used during the Magh Mela in Prayagraj, and the issue arose as the title Shankaracharya is traditionally associated with the heads of specific monastic institutions, and there are concerns regarding the legitimacy of its use by individuals not formally recognized by these institutions. So the administration clarifies that it was looking into the matter to ensure compliance with legal and traditional norms. While Swami Avimukteshwaranand defends his actions, asserts that his use of the title is legitimate. But he is not in the headlines just for this controversy. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you 3 videos that put together the whole story, the controversy, the row that has erupted during Magh Mela. Now, this is Shankaracharya versus Yogi government. In the first video, we're just going to play out. The first video, you can see Avimukteshwaranand arguing with the police. We're just going to play out that video to put in perspective. These are 3 videos that put together the entire story. So the first story shows him arguing with the police. See, take a look.
नई परंपरा नहीं है, पहले से हमारी परिक्रमा होती रही है, उसके प्रमाण है हमारे पास। कोई अनुमति नहीं है जो नहीं, आप कह रहे हैं नई परंपरा नहीं है, ये परंपरा हमारी बहुत पुरानी है। वो चीज आप कोर्ट में लीजिएगा, वो बात आप कोर्ट में रखिएगा। नहीं, आप कह रहे हैं ना कि नई परंपरा, तो आप किस आधार पर ये कह रहे हैं? वहाँ पे कोई अभी नहीं होती ना? क्यों नहीं होती है? रोज होती है, वहाँ रोज परिक्रमा करते हैं सनातन धर्म में। कारण बताइए हमको कारण बताइए। कोई भी नई परंपरा नहीं है, पहले से हमारी परिक्रमा होती रही है, उसके प्रमाण है हमारे पास। कोई अनुमति नहीं है जो नहीं, आप कह रहे हैं नई परंपरा नहीं है, ये परंपरा हमारी बहुत पुरानी है। वो चीज आप कोर्ट में लीजिएगा, वो बात आप कोर्ट में रखिएगा। नहीं, आप कह रहे हैं ना कि नई परंपरा, तो आप किस आधार पर ये कह रहे हैं? वहाँ पे कोई अभी नहीं होती ना? क्यों नहीं होती है? रोज होती है, वहाँ रोज परिक्रमा करते हैं सनातन धर्म में।
In the second video, viewers, that we're going to now play out, he is warned of breaching the barricades. Swami Avimukteshwaranand is seen breaching the barricades while he was stopped. He was warned against breaching the barricades as well. As you can see there, as we've encircled him, he's there where there's a lot of commotion, as you can see. And we'll just play that video out for you.
साधु भेष में होकर के पुलिस के साथ प्लीज अराजकता ना करें, इतना रिक्वेस्ट है आप लोगों से, सभी से, प्लीज 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 आपसे निवेदन है, आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है, प्लीज आप न करें, क्योंकि इसकी वजह से आपकी वजह से यहाँ पे रोकिए, वो बैरिकेडिंग तोड़ रहे हैं आपके लोग, 2 नंबर की बैरिकेडिंग तोड़ चुके हैं, बैरिकेडिंग तोड़ रहे हैं, आप अपने लोगों को रोकिए, रिक्वेस्ट है, आप अपने लोगों को रोकिए, वहाँ वो बैरिकेडिंग तोड़ रहे हैं। भेष में होकर के पुलिस के साथ प्लीज अराजकता ना करें, इतना रिक्वेस्ट है आप लोगों से, सभी से, प्लीज 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 आपसे निवेदन है, आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है, प्लीज आप न करें, क्योंकि इसकी वजह से आपकी वजह से यहाँ पे रोकिए, वो बैरिकेडिंग तोड़ रहे हैं आपके लोग, 2 नंबर की बैरिकेडिंग तोड़ चुके हैं, बैरिकेडिंग तोड़ रहे हैं। आप अपने लोगों को रोकिए, रिक्वेस्ट है, आप अपने लोगों को रोकिए, वहाँ वो बैरिकेडिंग तोड़ रहे हैं। भेष में होकर के पुलिस के साथ प्लीज अराजकता ना करें, इतना रिक्वेस्ट है आप लोगों से, सभी से, प्लीज 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 आपसे निवेदन है, आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है, प्लीज आप न करें, क्योंकि इसकी वजह से आपकी वजह से यहाँ पे रोकिए, वो बैरिकेडिंग तोड़ रहे हैं आपके लोग, 2 नंबर की बैरिकेडिंग तोड़ चुके हैं, बैरिकेडिंग तोड़ रहे हैं। आप अपने लोगों को रोकिए, रिक्वेस्ट है, आप अपने लोगों को रोकिए, वहाँ वो बैरिकेडिंग तोड़ रहे हैं।
And now in the video number 3 we're going to play our viewers. We just see him dialing Akhilesh Yadav, the Samajwadi Party Supremo and the former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, where he speaks of fighting a solo battle. So he calls up Akhilesh Yadav and says that he's fighting alone there.
कैसे हैं आप? अब देखिए, अब हम तो अपना लड़ रहे हैं, अपनी लड़ाई अभिमन्यु की तरह चक्रव्यूह में लड़ रहे हैं। देखिए, जब कोई बच्चा हिंदू घर में पैदा होता है, हिंदू माँ बाप से, जन्मते ही उसका गंगा यमुना में स्नान करने का जन्मसिद्ध अधिकार हो जाता है। उससे उसको वंचित नहीं किया जा सकता। इन्होंने हमको संगम स्नान से वंचित कर दिया। कितना बड़ा संवैधानिक जो है इन्होंने प्रश्न खड़ा किया है कि क्या किसी हिंदू बच्चे को आप स्नान से वंचित कर सकते हो? कर दिया इन्होंने। हाँ जी जी, सही है। हाँ सही है, सही है, सही है। सारा तोड़ दिया इन्होंने। 150 मंदिर हमारे तोड़ दिए हैं और अभी भी तोड़ते चले जा रहे हैं। यही बात है। ठीक है जी, ठीक है।
Now, viewers, he's also sent a legal notice to the Uttar Pradesh government after being challenged by the Yogi Adityanath government regarding his claim to the Shankaracharya title. In fact, he also spoke to Republic TV on this as he defends his claim and asserts that his religious standing is valid. Take a listen in.
स्वामी जी, जो जवाब दिया गया, जो आरोप लगाए गए थे प्रशासन की तरफ से, अधिवक्ता ने ईमेल के जरिए जिक्र किया कि ये सब पूरी तरह से गैर कानूनी है और इसके खिलाफ आगे याचिका भी दायर करेंगे सुप्रीम कोर्ट में। क्या कुछ कहा गया उसमें?
ऐसा है कि ये बियॉन्ड जुरिस्डिक्शन, अपने क्षेत्राधिकार का अतिक्रमण करके ये नोटिस हमको उनके द्वारा भेजी गई थी। जो माघ मेला प्राधिकरण है, उसका गठन जिस एक्ट से किया गया है, उसमें कहीं नहीं लिखा है कि माघ मेला का प्राधिकरण यहाँ पर आने वाले साधु संतों की डिग्निटी के परीक्षा करेगा। ये मर्यादा के अतिक्रमण का मामला है, शिष्टाचार की तिलांजलि देने का मामला है। लेकिन यहाँ के प्राधिकरण ने ये सब प्रवाह छोड़ दी और छोड़ करके हमसे पूछा कि अपने नाम के आगे जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य क्यों लिखे हो। तो जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य हमने अपने नाम के आगे नहीं लिखा है। हमारा नाम ही अब जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य है। वो उनको अभी ये बात नहीं समझ में आई है, पता नहीं है। ये जो जगत गुरु शंकराचार्य है, ये ऐसा पद नहीं है कि यहाँ पर कोई बैठे तो जब तक बैठा है तब तक वो अमुक कहा जाए। ये जीवन पर्यंत के लिए अभिषिक्त आचार्य होता है और जैसे ही इस पद पर विराजमान होता है वो आदि शंकराचार्य का स्वरूप हो जाता है। भगवान शंकराचार्य जी ने मठामनाय महानुशासन में कहा है कि उक्त लक्षण संपन्न परिभ्राडुक्त लक्षण अहमेवेति विज्ञेयः यस्य देव इति श्रुते है। इसका मतलब कि मेरे पीठ पर मेरे द्वारा बताए गए लक्षणों से संपन्न जो आचार्य अभिषिक्त हो जाएगा वो मेरा ही स्वरूप है, मैं ही हूँ। अहम एव इति विज्ञेयः, मैं ही हूँ ऐसा मेरे मानने वाले माने। तो वो ही हैं, आदि शंकराचार्य ही हैं। तो हमारे नाम के आगे हमने नहीं जोड़ा है, हमारा नाम अभिमुक्तेश्वरानंद नहीं है, हमारा नाम इस समय जगतगुरु शंकराचार्य है। अभिमुक्तेश्वरानंद इसलिए लगाया गया है, उसको हटाया इसलिए नहीं गया कि व्यवहारिक बोध भी लोगों को होता रहे, क्योंकि जगतगुरु शंकराचार्य मात्र कहेंगे तो आदि शंकराचार्य का बोध होने लगेगा, इसलिए ये नाम भी उसमें संयुक्त किया गया है। लेकिन हमारा ये असल में नाम है। ये जो धार्मिक हमारी बारीकी है, इसको क्या अधिकारी समझेंगे और क्या नेता समझेंगे, वो ऐसा प्रश्न हमसे पूछते हैं। और चूंकि उन्होंने पूछ ही लिया, लाज शर्म छोड़ के, लिहाज छोड़ के, तो फिर स्वाभाविक है। हमारे कार्यालय ने हमसे कहा था कि उन्होंने 24 घंटे में जवाब चाहा है हम दे देंगे, और हमको आज सवेरे जब हम आए हैं हमको बता दिया गया कि रात को 24 घंटा पूरा हो उसके पहले ही उनको ईमेल से भी जवाब भेज दिया गया है। और हमारे लोगों ने प्रिंट आउट निकाल करके जा करके वहाँ रिसीव भी कराना चाहा, लेकिन वहाँ उनके कार्यालय में भी वीडियो भी बनाया है, पूरे कार्यालय में कोई नहीं था उनके। वो रात को 12 बजे के बाद कानून गो भेजते हैं शंकराचार्य जी के यहाँ कि अभी रिसीव करिए। हमारे आदमी जब जाते हैं हम, तो वहाँ पर भी तो कोई नहीं था। एक व्यक्ति खड़ा था, वो कहता था मैं तो चौकीदार हूँ, सवेरे आइए। तो फिर हमारे लोगों ने भी उनकी दीवार पे चस्पा कर दिया जवाब और आ गए।
तो आप लोगों ने भी 24 घंटे का वक्त दिया है।
अब 24 घंटे का वक्त, बात तो थी मन में कि हम भी कहें, लेकिन उनके स्तर पर उतरना ठीक नहीं है। हमने ये मान लिया कि इनका जवाब मांगा था इन्होंने, हमारे कार्यालय ने उसको दे दिया। हम चाहते हैं कि ये जो चाहते हैं वो हम न करें। ये क्या चाहते हैं कि हमने गौ माता की रक्षा का जो मुद्दा उठाया है उसको ये डिरेल करना चाहते हैं, उसको पटरी से हटाना चाहते हैं, उसको पीछे करना चाहते हैं, छुपाना चाहते हैं, इसलिए ये सब कर रहे हैं। तो हम इनके आशय को समझ करके अपना मुख्य जो हमारा उद्देश्य है उस पर केंद्रित अब होना चाहते हैं।
शंकराचार्य जी, इस कड़कड़ाती ठंड में 3 दिन बीत चुके हैं उस पूरे घटनाक्रम को, आज चौथे दिन भी आप बाहर बैठे हैं। अब ये सिलसिला कब तक चलता रहेगा?
देखिए, ये शंकराचार्य हमारे यहाँ 4 हैं, एक पूर्व, एक पश्चिम, एक उत्तर, एक दक्षिण। और आपको पता है हम उत्तर के शंकराचार्य हैं। उत्तर तो हिमालय में है, हमारा पीठ बद्रीनाथ में है, तो हम तो हिमालय के शंकराचार्य हैं। हमें ठंडी से क्या, हमें तो ठंड अच्छी लगती है, हमें ठंडी से कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। माइनस डिग्री में हमारे पूर्वज रहते आए हैं, हमें क्या दिक्कत है। हमारी कोई मांग नहीं है। मांगा किससे जाता है? जो हमसे ज़्यादा वैशिष्ट रखता हो, हम इनसे मांगेंगे। हमें क्या मांगना है? हम कुछ भी नहीं मांगते हैं इनसे, इनसे क्यों मांगेंगे? इसलिए हमारी कोई मांग नहीं थी। हाँ, हमारी टेक जरूर है, और वो इनसे नहीं है। हमारी टेक गंगा और यमुना की धारा से है कि आपके स्नान के लिए हम निकले थे, हमें क्यों वो नहीं मिला है। जब तक ससम्मान हमारा स्नान नहीं होगा हम शिविर में प्रवेश नहीं करेंगे। अभी यात्रा में ही हैं, आप समझ लो कि अभी स्नान के लिए निकले हैं, अभी स्नान के लिए रास्ता ही में हैं, ऐसा मान करके रास्ते में बैठे हैं।
मतलब कि अगर विधि विधान से आपका स्नान संपन्न हो जाएगा तो आश्रम में आप बैठने लगेंगे?
हाँ, स्वाभाविक है, फिर और कार्य करेंगे, और नहीं तो यहाँ से भी हमारा धर्म कार्य तो चल ही रहा है। इस समय हम यहाँ आए थे तो पूजा पाठ, देखिए हम कितना मन में दुख होता है। भगवान की पूजा हम प्रतिदिन 5 बार करते हैं, अब यहीं से दर्शन कर रहे हैं, है ना, केवल तर्पण दंड का कर पा रहे हैं। तो ये सब है। अभी गुप्त नवरात्रि चल रही है, इसमें हम लोग महापूजा करते हैं। वो हमारी महापूजा हमको अपने शिष्यों के माध्यम से करनी पड़ रही है। और जब हम यहाँ आए थे तो हमने सोचा था कि गौ माता की रक्षा के लिए पहले हमारे मन में था कि भारत के हर हिंदू के घर में जा कर के हम अलग जगाएं, लेकिन ये व्यवहारिक नहीं है, संभव नहीं है। 7 लाख गांव हैं, संभव ही नहीं है हम पहुंच पाएँ। तो जब हम यहाँ आए तो हमको लगा कि ये तो पूरा लघु भारत है, धार्मिक भारत है, सब धर्म के लोग यहीं आए हुए हैं। तो अगर 5000 शिविर हैं, हमने पता किया माघ मेला के कार्यालय से, तो 5000 के लगभग शिविर उन्होंने बताए। तो हमने सोचा ये पकड़ में आ सकता है, तो 5000 शिविर के दरवाजे पे जाके अगर हम अलग जगाएं तो वो हमारी बात पूरे भारत में चली जाएगी। तो हमने वो शुरू कर दिया, गौ प्रतिष्ठा प्रेरणा यात्रा, और 500 से ज़्यादा शिविर के दरवाजे पे हम अभी तक जा चुके हैं। हमने वो काम अपना कंटिन्यू रखा है। 5000 शिविर के दरवाजे जा कर के उनको जगाने का काम हमारा चलेगा। गौ माता की रक्षा हमारा कार्य मुख्य है, उसको हम आगे बढ़ाएंगे।
And viewers, now we shift our focus to the chilling pattern that has emerged from Kerala's Kasaragod district. Young women are missing. Families left shattered. Questions left unanswered. Republic TV investigates this disturbing allegation of radicalization via marriage, what locals describe as love jihad. Families are claiming young women are allegedly converted